Okay, so they were afraid of the beast. And actually, they talked about it so much that they kind of got the big ones a little concerned about this beast thing too, right? Okay. Ralph is still in control, but Jack is starting to stand up a little bit and kind of want some control too, right? So we saw that. And so we're going to see what happens. I think one of the things that Perion said in his prediction is that Jack is going to get a little violent. We know that Jack really got into killing that pig, right? He talked about the blood and all of that. And so we have to watch what's going to happen with that. Okay, so we're going to start 6, and as always, I will play the audio, and I'll stop it to make sure that you're understanding what's happening, okay? So I want you to turn your books to page 83, and it's called Beasts from Air. And I want to ask a question for Perion can't answer, because he's seen the video, so he pretty much knows what's going to happen. Beasts from the air. What do you think that means? What do you think's going, that title means? That'll be a beast that comes from the sky. So we'll see if she's correct. We'll see. I mean, that's what it says. That's the title of chapter 6. Beast from the air. Beast from the air. Okay. So hold on just a minute while I get it.
Lord of the Flies, William Gould. Lord of the Flies, Chapter 6, Beast from Air.
Okay, let's start reading.
There was no light left save that of the stars. When they had understood what made this ghostly noise, and Percival was quiet again, Ralph and Simon picked him up unhandily and carried him to a shelter. Piggy hung about near for all his brave words, and the 3 bigger boys went together to the next shelter. They lay restlessly and noisily among the dry leaves, watching the patch of stars that was the opening toward the lagoon. Sometimes a little one cried out from the other shelters, and once a big one spoke in the dark. Then they too fell asleep. A sliver of moon rose over the horizon, hardly large enough to make a path of light even when it sat right down on the water. But there were other lights in the sky that moved fast, winked, or went out, though not even a faint popping came down from the battle fought at 10 miles' height. But a sign came down from the world of grown-ups, though at the time there was no child awake to read it. There was a sudden bright explosion and corkscrew trail across the sky, then darkness again and stars. There was a speck above the island, a figure dropping swiftly beneath a parachute, a figure that hung with dangling limbs. The changing winds of various altitudes took the figure where they would. Then, 3 miles up, the wind steadied and bore it in a descending curve round the sky, and swept it in a great slant across the reef and the lagoon toward the mountain. The figure fell and crumpled among the blue flowers of the mountainside, but now there was a gentle breeze at this height too, and the parachute flopped and banged and pulled. So the figure, with feet that dragged behind it, slid up the mountain. Yard by yard, puff by puff, the breeze hauled the figure through the blue flowers, over the boulders and red stones, till it lay huddled among the shattered rocks of the mountain top. Here the breeze was fitful and allowed the strings of the parachute to tangle and festoon, and the figure sat, its helmeted head between its knees, held by a complication of lines. When the breeze blew, the lines would strain taut, and some accident of this pull lifted the head and chest upright so that the figure seemed to peer across the brow of the mountain. Then, each time the wind dropped, the lines would slacken and the figure bow forward again, sinking its head between its knees. So as the stars moved across the sky, the figure sat on the mountaintop and bowed and sank and bowed again. In the darkness of early morning, there were noises by a rock a little way down the side of the mountain. 2 boys rolled out a pile of brushwood and dead leaves, 2 dim shadows talking sleepily to each other. They were the twins, on duty at the fire. In theory, one should have been asleep and one on watch, but they could never manage to do things sensibly if that meant acting independently, and since staying awake all night was impossible, they had both gone to sleep. Now they approached the darker smudge that had been the signal fire, yawning, rubbing their eyes, treading with practiced feet. When they reached it, they stopped yawning, and one ran quickly back for brushwood and leaves. The other knelt down. "I believe it's out." He fiddled with the sticks that were pushed into his hands. "No." He lay down and put his lips close to the smudge and blew softly. His face appeared, lit redly. He stopped blowing for a moment. "Sam, give us tinderwood." Eric bent down and blew softly again till the patch was bright. Sam poked the piece of tinderwood into the hot spot, then a branch. The glow increased and the branch took fire. Sam piled on more branches. "Don't burn the lot," said Eric. "You're putting on too much. Let's warm up. We'll only have to fetch more wood. I'm cold. So am I. Besides, it's dark. All right, then." Eric squatted back and watched Sam make up the fire. He built a little tent of dead wood, and the fire was safely alight. That was near. He'd have been waxy. Huh. For a few moments, the twins watched the fire in silence. Then Eric sniggered. "Wasn't he waxy? About the fire and the pig? Lucky he went for Jack instead of us. Huh. Remember old Waxy at school? Boy, you are driving me slowly insane." The twins shared their identical laughter, then remembered the darkness and other things and glanced round uneasily. The flames, busy about the tent, drew their eyes back again. Eric watched the scurrying woodlice that were so frantically unable to avoid the flames, and thought of the first fire, just down there on the steeper side of the mountain, where now was complete darkness. He did not like to remember it, and looked away at the mountain top. Warmth radiated now, and beat pleasantly on them. Sam amused himself by fitting branches into the fire as closely as possible. Eric spread out his hands, searching for the distance at which the heat was just bearable. Idly looking beyond the fire, he resettled the scattered rocks from their flat shadows into daylight contours. Just there was the big rock, and the 3 stones there, that split rock, and there beyond was a gap, just there. Sam, huh? Nothing. Lord of the Flies, William Golden. 1. The Sound of the Shell. The boy with fair hair lowered himself down the last few feet of rock and began to pick his way toward the lagoon. Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No problem. Okay, guys, I wanna, because we read a lot, and sometimes it's a little confusing, but what happened is that they meaning some airplanes were in the sky, but they were asleep and didn't know it. And one of the guys got killed, and he parachuted. Everybody knows what a parachute is? He parachuted down and was killed. And he was on the mountain, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. There were twins, not two twins. Twin means two. So there were twin boys on the mountain. They were trying to make a what?
Fire.
Yeah, they were trying to make a fire. Okay? And they did make the fire. So we're gonna have to watch and see what happens. Now, I made a little boo-boo, so I'm going to have to try to correct it. I gotta get back to the page. We're on towards the end of 85, but I've got to try to get back there, so hold on.
Lord of the Flies. Chapter 6. East Front. There beyond was a gap, just there. Sam, huh? Nothing. The flames were mastering the branches, the bark was curling and falling away, the wood exploding. The tent fell inwards and flung a wide circle of light over the mountaintop. Sam, huh? Sam! Sam! Sam looked at Eric irritably. The intensity of Eric's... And the fire was safely alight. That was near. He'd have been waxy, huh? For a few moments, the twins watched the fire in silence.
Okay, let me tell you where it is. We're on page 85, where it says, wasn't he waxy? Okay, so we'll start again. Sorry about that, 85.
Then Eric sniggered. Wasn't he waxy? About the fire and the pig? Lucky he went for Jack instead of us. Huh. Remember old Waxy at school? Boy, you are driving me slowly insane. The twins shared their identical laughter, then remembered the darkness and other things and glanced round uneasily. The flames, busy about the tent, drew their eyes back again. Eric watched the scurrying woodlice that were so frantically unable to avoid the flames, and thought of the first fire, just down there on the steeper side of the mountain, where now was complete darkness. He did not like to remember it, and looked away at the mountain top. Warmth radiated now, and beat pleasantly on them. Sam amused himself by fitting branches into the fire as closely as possible. Eric spread out his hands, searching for the distance at which the heat was just bearable. Idly looking beyond the fire, he resettled the scattered rocks from their flat shadows into daylight contours. Just there was the big rock, and the 3 stones there, that split rock, and there beyond was a gap, just there. Sam, huh? Nothing. The flames were mastering the branches, the bark was curling and falling away, the wood exploding. The tent fell inwards and flung a wide circle of light over the mountaintop. Sam, huh? Sam! Sam! Sam looked at Eric irritably. The intensity of Eric's gaze made the direction in which he looked terrible, for Sam had his back to it. He scrambled round the fire, squatted by Eric, and looked to see. They became motionless, gripped in each other's arms, 4 unwinking eyes aimed, and 2 mouths open. Far beneath them, the trees of the forest sighed, then roared. The hair on their foreheads fluttered, and flames blew out sideways from the fire. 15 yards away from them came the plopping noise of fabric blown open. Neither of the boys screamed, but the grip of their arms tightened and their mouths grew peaked. For perhaps 10 seconds they crouched like that, while the flailing fire sent smokes and sparks and waves of inconstant light over the top of the mountain. Then, as though they had but one terrified mind between them, they scrambled away over the rocks and fled. Ralph was dreamy. He had fallen asleep after what seemed hours of tossing and turning noisily among the dry leaves. Even the sounds of nightmare from the other shelters no longer reached him, for he was back to where he came from, feeding the ponies with sugar over the garden wall. Then someone was shaking his arm, telling him that it was time for tea. "Ralph, wake up!" The leaves were roaring like the sea. "Ralph, wake up!" "What's the matter?" "We saw the beast, plain." "Who are you, the twins?" "We saw the beast." "Quiet, Piggy." The leaves were roaring still. Piggy bumped through the blue flowers, over the bulky.
Okay, so the twin boys said that they saw the beast. What they saw was a vision of that man, that I told you that came down on the parachute. He got stuck on some of the twigs in the mountain. So that's what they saw, but they think they're seeing the beast. Okay, so here we go. We are on page 87.
86.
87, because we saw the beast quite, okay, well, it may start on the end of 86.
And red stones, till it lay huddled among the shattered rocks of the mountaintop. Here the breeze was fitful and allowed the strings of the parachute to tangle and festoon, and the figure sat, its helmeted head between its knees, held by a complication of lines. When the breeze blew, the lines would strain taut, and some accident of this pull lifted the head and chest upright so that the figure seemed to peer across the brow of the mountain. Then, each time the wind dropped, the lines would slacken and the figure bowed forward again, sinking its head between its knees. So as the stars moved across the sky, the figure sat on the mountaintop and bowed and sank and bowed again.
We gotta go back a little bit.
In the darkness of early morning, there were noises by a rock a little way down the side of the mountain. Its helmeted head between its knees, held by a complication of lines. When the breeze blew, the lines would strain taut, and some accident of this pull lifted the head and chest upright so that the figure seemed to peer across the brow of the mountain. Then, each time the wind dropped, the lines would slacken and the figure bowed forward again, sinking its head between its knees. So as the stars moved across the sky, the figure sat on the mountaintop and bowed and sank and bowed again.